And now, the starting CTO of Rivian, previous vice president of Apple for 16 years, Intel vice president for 5 years, currently on the board of directors at iRobot, Mike Bell.
Mike
Bell. What's up, guys? Austin and Garrett here with Ride Rivian, and today we are going to be talking about all of the different people that Rivian has poached from other companies. So they've taken a lot of employees from other major companies, and we want to talk about a few of those people today, and kind of talk about essentially why Rivian is bound to be really successful.
Why they have an all-star squad right
All-star squad.
Seriously.
We're talking LeBron James. We're talking Kobe Bryant. We're talking LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. All right, Michael McHale, he is currently the head of corporate communications at Rivian. He worked at BMW doing the same thing for 2 years. He worked at Mini for 5 years doing the same thing. He worked at Land Rover and Jaguar. So he's kind of a big wig in the car industry. Great to have on the Rivian team.
Next up is Randy Frank. Currently, he is the vice president for body and interior engineering at Rivian. And he came from Ford, where he worked for 28 years as the chief engineer.
Is that good?
Yeah.
28 years?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Marginal.
Okay.
All right, we got Barry Caldwell. He is the CAD director at Rivian right now. And he was at Ford for 32 years as the chief engineer of design. And then technical operations of truck and SUV, which with Rivian being in the truck and SUV, that's pretty important too. So another all-star that we have here.
Okay, we got another Barry. Barry Lett.
Lots of berries on the team.
Apparently.
Can't have enough berries.
Okay, Barry is the director of advanced concepts for Rivian right now.
Whatever that is.
Yeah,
it's important.
It's probably
important.
I think. Anyway, he worked for 28 years as the chief director of design for McLaren.
Which is like super legit. If you're not aware, those cars are like $300,000 a piece, and they're very, very, very nice cars. So he's experienced.
Very experienced.
Very experienced. We got another one that Rivian kind of poached from McLaren. I don't even know if poach is the right word. Just someone who worked at McLaren. He worked at McLaren for 7 years as the chief engineer. So also a pretty big position there at McLaren. And right now he's the associate director of advanced projects at Rivian.
Also don't know what that is. Probably the tunnel. All right, Graham Meeks is the next one on the list. Currently, he is the associate director of body engineering at Rivian. Also came from McLaren, where he was the head of body engineering. Very similar jobs, not the same job. He was also an engineering manager and composites engineer manager. Don't know how much composites there are. Sorry, this is like nerd engineering talk, but
I'll pretend like I understand what he's saying.
I don't know. They probably have composites in there. Anyway, 17 years at McLaren
17
total.
years.
That is a long time.
It's adding up if you start thinking about just the experience from McLaren alone. We have yet another McLaren employee here, Yann Pissonier. I believe that's how you say it. I actually have no idea.
Me neither.
He's currently the lead concept engineer at Rivian. He was a concept engineering lead at Puget, which is another car company, for 14 years. And then, like I said, he was the design engineering leader at McLaren for 6 years. So another really experienced car guy on the team.
All right, next up is James Chen. He's the vice president of public policy at Rivian. And he's coming from Tesla. We got our first Tesla guy. Vice president at Tesla for 6 years. He was the vice president of regulatory affairs and the deputy general counsel. He also worked at Faraday Future for 6 months as the vice president for government relations, and he was also on the general counsel there.
Well, and the reason why it was only 6 months there is because while he was there, that's when Rivian pulled him on board. And if you don't know what Faraday Future is, it's also kind of another startup electric car company, which I believe, I think is kind of fizzling out right now. They had like a huge fallout a couple months back, but he was kind of pulled before that happened. But once again, another really big asset to the team.
Yeah, and I think he's actually one of many that Rivian pulled from Faraday Future.
Yep, there were quite a few people that came along.
At all different levels. So,
All right, so this one is another one from Faraday Future, and he was there for 2 years as the finance manager. He also came from, you may have heard of this company, SpaceX. He was there for 2 years as their senior financial analyst, so another Elon Musk company, which is never a bad thing to have on your resume. Right now, he is currently the global financial planning and analysis manager at Rivian. So
That is Nicholas.
Oh, did I not say his name? Nicholas Leigenfelter.
Because it's hard to say.
Leigenfelter.
It's fun to say, though.
Yes.
Should have said it. Next up is Jared Clark. He is the vehicle package engineering lead at Rivian. And he's got a lot of stuff, so I have to read this. He was the vehicle integration staff engineer and team lead at Tesla for 4 years. Another Tesla. Elon is just losing everybody.
Everybody.
It's all those
Elon's going to jump
fires.
ship soon to Rivian, no doubt.
Those rage
You heard it
fires.
here first.
Okay, he was also the product design engineer for basic design and vehicle architecture for Ford for 19 years. Okay,
It's a lot of experience.
there's so much experience
really
on
is.
this team. It's crazy.
And then we had Mark Vinnels. He's the executive director of engineering and programs at Rivian. Previously worked at McLaren as well for 14 years. He was the executive director of
McLaren.
product development.
All right, last one. Last of the poached, we should say. Jeff Hammond, design of engineer currently at Rivian. He was the chief of design at Jeep for 15 years and the design manager at Chrysler and Fiat for 9 years. So many years of experience. I can't get over this. I just like, it's not like they've worked for these places 1 or 2
Yeah.
years. It's like decades.
Well, and honestly,
person.
we're probably missing a ton of other people.
Oh, yeah.
This is just kind of with the research that we did, who we could find that had quite a few notable places of employment. But honestly, if we were to look for a few more hours, I'm sure we'd find another list just like this. So the team is very experienced. Honestly, it's built for success, and that's something that I think can't be overlooked. All right, so we talked a little bit about kind of the employees that have been poached or have kind of moved from other companies. But let's talk a little bit about the CEO of Rivian, which is RJ Scaringe. May or may not be pronouncing that last name right. But company started in 2009, so it's actually been around for a lot longer than it's been in the news for. He got a degree of mechanical engineering from MIT's Sloan Automotive Lab, which he kind of, while he was there working with combustion engines, decided he wanted to do something a little bit more clean and started focusing on just cleaner ways to travel, and that's when he kind of got the idea for Rivian. So really intelligent guy, basically creating this team of experienced people to produce these wonderful vehicles that we cannot wait to see in person. Yes. So I hope you guys, yes, and drive. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up below and subscribe. Turn on notifications. That way you will always be in the know when we will be talking about electric vehicles, Rivian, and so much more.
Just smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Just smash it.
I was thinking of an actual person. I was thinking like a Barry.
Well, Barry Bonds is a person.
No, I was thinking of not doing a normal person. Like a person. I was thinking of like an object that we could do. Barry.
Like a snozberry from Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Next up on the team, snozberry.
Berry. Strawberries are good.